of Peoria firefighters and others gathered to remember late fire captain Vernon Butch Gudat. Captain Gudat tragically lost his life in the line of duty 42 years ago when a brick wall collapsed on top of him while fighting an apartment building fire on Main Street in Peoria on January 23rd of 1983. He was 38 years old at the time. His children, Mike and Michelle, described him as a selfless, giving person who always helped out his fellow firemen. They also started a scholarship named after their late father for descendants of firefighters in the Tri-County area.
We also give out a fire prevention grant, and the City of Peoria Fire Department will be receiving that grant this year. So his legacy really does continue to help impact education of those who serve as, children and grandchildren of those who serve as well.
Gudat was able to save fellow firefighter Mike Morrow's life just before the wall collapsed. The fire department has not lost a firefighter in the line of duty since. And the